Dr. Eric Fishman with EHR TV, and today Ann Fishman and I have the pleasure of speaking with the inimitable Jonathan Bush, and we're going to be talking about athenahealth, talking about Anodyne, but first Ann has a couple of questions.
I just want to know, what makes Jonathan Bush tick?
I love you, Ann. Keep talking.
Explain it in a very accessible way.
My cause is an information backbone that makes healthcare work as it should, or at least that helps. That's it. That's the cause. There should be one. There isn't one. There's no market for one. The logical markets for them have largely been illegal. There's a cultural resistance to one. There's even, believe it or not, because they don't know what it means, there's public resistance to one. And mostly there's a lot of entrenched makers of isolated software that would have a lot to lose by it. And so pretty much everybody's against it. And it's good, and I figured out with millions of errors and lots of help from my colleagues a way to make money building such a backbone, to have the backbone actually get stronger as connectivity improves. And so we're going with it. And so far, you know, they're liking it.
What makes you unique in the health IT space? What are you bringing that nobody else can?
Well, obviously it's EHR TV, so we only have, before the next commercial on Real Life, you know, a little bit of time. And so I think I'll keep it at the mission statement level. We've got a thing called a hedgehog, which is whatever we're doing, 1,700 of us in 3, 4, 5 offices, it's got to fit the hedgehog, every product. And ours is, it's got to be the best in the world at getting more cash for doctors every day for doing the right thing. And you know, if it's a really neat thing, but it actually makes doctors lose money, or if it's a really neat thing that makes doctors money, but it's bad for society, we skip those and we narrowly focus on this piece. It makes for a completely different business model. It makes for a completely different culture. But, you know, over a long, long haul, I mean, we've been doing it for 14 years now, it really, really pays.
Now, you said something very important. If it's bad for society, you move it out.
Doctors will kill you. They might do it for a little while, but if you sort of drag them into violating the Hippocratic Oath in small steps, you know, in a frog in a frying pan kind of way, and then they wake up and they realize that they've been part of the problem, they'll be, you know, the passive-aggressive rage that doctors are capable of, you know, knows no bounds.
Anodyne Health now says an Athena company.
It's an Athena company, and business intelligence is part of this picture. If you aren't able to unabashedly see in real life, in real time where you are, there's nothing you can do about moving in the right direction. And a lot of folks that fear Athena because of the scope of our services still want to use Athena's reporting, still want to have that data frame for understanding their world, and so we've decided to keep the name separate and let people buy that without buying our other stuff.
Jonathan, if you don't mind, I'd like to play an acronym game.
Game.
Over there you can see a bunch of acronyms.
Okay.
So are there any you want to talk about?
I like PCMH. I don't like the acronyms, but I think the idea of medical home is a neat idea. I think risk is a good idea, but the idea of wrapping it in another ridiculous 3-letter acronym, ACO, versus all the other ones, is annoying. And the idea that the government's going to design it and we're all going to do it is absurd. But the idea is a good one. PHI, I think about a lot.
NLU is natural language understanding.
Yeah, interesting. Natural language understanding as a really complicated, like, analytical thing, as opposed to speaking in English small sentences without coding it. Like, I believe in natural language. Yeah, I think it is. We're basically going to be conscientious objectors next year. We're going to do a whole nother, like, sit-in on the coder engines in EMRs. And we're just going to be like, sit in, none of it. Doctor says the exam's going to be this. You know, we're going to have the MA do all the briefing, all the analytics on, you know, pee in the cup and dip and blood pressure and height and weight, build little trends on it, pull it into a single briefing, and the doctor's going to say, basically this is what I see. And it's going to be like 2 sentences, done. And then he's going to decide totally separately what level it is. Level 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to tell CMS that we're doing this. And we're going to say that we're right. And we're going to defend these guys to the core of the earth. And we're going to see what happens.
You mean to bypass ICD-10?
No, they can still do ICD-10, but bypassing the whole clicky-click exam to defend what level it is and create reams and reams of baloney data that no doctor wants to see. Because then what happens is doctors don't want to receive electronic patient summaries from other doctors who have EMRs because they're afraid of all the crap that's going to come in that justified level 4 or 5 or 3 or what have you. So we're going to get natural language encounters.
Is the government, at the end of the day, going to be good for healthcare or bad for healthcare?
Oh my God, we had the best debate at Wharton on Saturday. Me and Zeke Emanuel and some guy from the Manhattan Institute. And Zeke, wrote the thing, and he is not a shy man. And he was ripping, and I had to admit at the end, even though every single provision in the bill I thought was a disaster, I thought the bill was a disaster, I thought it's going to increase the cost of care in ways that they haven't even begun. The fact is, the private sector didn't get off its tuchus. So I think in the end we're going to look, the date was 2020, and we're going to look, and the question was, is it going to be better because of this bill? And I think the answer is it is going to be better because of this bill, because even though everyone's going to create passive-aggressive, annoying layers of coding to insulate themselves from the bill, they're also going to get enough fear in their pants that they actually go out and start to innovate themselves. And we're already seeing it. We're already seeing hospitals stopping worrying about heads on beds and starting to say, how much market share do I have to steal to keep my beds full, but actually utilize 50% less? And that's exciting. That's the first time I've ever heard a hospital CEO say that. It was in Nashville. It's exciting.
Since data capture seems to be a big impetus for a lot of the regulations, and maybe some of the technology, is it possible to get too much data?
Oh my God, it's so possible. Yeah, so data that's like even 5 minutes old is not worth having. Data that isn't decisionable is not worth having. And data that's so inaccurate, it's like built for passive-aggressive ulterior reasons, is not worth having. So that's like 90% of the chart needs to go. And then you start to that 10% and you keep it real time and tight. That's the idea of the natural language Ernest Hemingway encounter. So we're going to do a whole new version of Athena Clinicals next year on the iPad, on Safari. But here's the deal. There's only going to be 10 screens on it, ever. 10 pages, period. No matter how many times you click, you can only see one of those 10 pages. And if you don't like that, go back to the browser and click your way through to Kingdom Come. And you're just going to have to deal within those 10 pages. And we think that what's going to happen is people are going to tighten up what they have to say, and what comes out of those encounters is actually going to be useful to everybody in the clinical information supply chain. So I'm big into that. This year, I really learned a lot about coordination of care, and I think we, with Athena Coordinator, which came out this year, since last time we spoke, we've actually found a business model where the sender and the receiver actually makes more money for doing the right thing on coordination of care. Basically, it's the opposite of Epic, right? Epic, you buy Epic and you make everybody work for you and you make them use the thing because that way they have to send only.
But my last question.
Yeah.
Did you get a picture from Athens when Ann and I were standing in front of the Acropolis and we thought of you because of Athena?
I think I did. If I was organized enough, I would like have a file in my thing where I save the picture so I could keep it for scrapbooking. But
what's Anodyne doing that's different?
I think just like Athena, all of our technology is only used in the service of a service. So we got really cool technology here, but the important part about Anodyne is we decide what the cube of data should look like and how people should look at it, and we only let you look at your data that way. So the analytical frame that you have and that your account manager has and that I have on how you're doing is the same. So I know good and bad. Good and bad's always relative, right? In everything. Love, sex, marriage, children, grades, everything.
That's our next segment.
Right? So to be able to have everybody on one frame, on one database, looking at their performance using one set of lenses, makes for a level of truth that you can't have even with some sort of Cognos application that's got millions more features and millions more ways of being used. It doesn't matter if you got a million ways of using if you don't know what good means. And so that's what Anodyne does that no one else does. They refuse to be used other than the way we describe. And then we follow up with them. It's a business intelligence service. We will tell you how you're doing on the phone if you don't want to look at your report.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
Are you more a business guy, an IT guy, or a public policy guy?
Or a visionary?
Oh, I'm a public policy guy. Business is just business and IT are the
means to change the world?
Yeah. I would call myself a vision guy or a mission guy. I like missions. And I don't really like being handed the mission by someone who has more power than me. It makes me feel incredibly violated. So I didn't know anything about the internet when I started Athena at all. I didn't have email, nothing. So I really think whether it's carrier pigeons or the internet or national standards or services, it's whatever gets the mission. And you pick missions that, you'd feel good if you made $1 million succeeding at them. Where the world would say, hey, thanks for succeeding at that.
I'm going to give you a 4 gigabyte thumb drive, and you're going to tell me what you're going to put on it.
Oh, pictures. Pictures, just like the ones you sent me. I don't have enough pictures. I want more pictures. I don't like our websites, all these words. No one reads them.
Oh, really?
Pictures, yeah.
You want us to send you some pictures?
Yeah. Well, I got the one.
Yeah, great.
Greece.
Good.
All right, well, thank you guys for focusing on Athena Health.
We'll be back.
Take care, doctor.
It was wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Love to be with you.
Bye, everyone.